So we had some huge wins last night as the Democratic Party swept all of the major races. We're talking about the New York City mayor race, the New Jersey governor race, the Virginia governor race, and also Proposition 50, as we just got some polling data on that. I made a last video about that, and this one came out later, but it turned out California Proposition 50, so that's the redistricting plan, 63.9% voting yes, 36.1% voting no, and that was with 70% voting in. So when we get finals of that, I'll show you guys. But you're looking at essentially double-digit wins in the mayor races. Wow, it's actually increased. This is with 95% of the votes in, so 56 to 43 in New Jersey, 57 to 42 in Virginia. And this bodes very, very well for the Democrats. Now, I'll just say this, guys, do not rest. Do not, think, okay, we're definitely going to win midterms and everything's going to be, hunky-dory. I'll just say this, it looks good, but just don't rest. Don't take anything for granted, because I don't want to go back to Trumpy world. And if we can just survive another, 365 days, just another year, and if you can sweep the midterms, it'll put, Trump in a lame duck kind of position, and then the Democrats or Republicans the next couple of years will be talking about who's going to be the next president, and they'll start to hear a bunch of names, and Trump will hopefully just retreat off to the corner and just go tweet himself, whatever, right? This is also I want to show you guys. These are some basically swifts and change, as you can see the blue. Democratic advantage, right? It is going up, and this says here, Democratic lead in generic 2026 congressional ballot polling average. Now, again, with this kind of stuff, don't take it for granted. It just shows this is where the momentum is. Things can always change. But I'll just say this. When you look at what the Trumpies are up to, and this is just a couple hours ago, they're trying to start wars, right? And, the question is, it's like any number of things that Trump does, it's like, does any American want to seriously go with this? Do you want to be spending millions of dollars to go start a war with Venezuela? Is that what we want to do? Or, do you want someone who's just like completely unserious? This is Trump. They were tweeting out, Trump is your president. It's supposed to be a play on the New York Knicks logo, but it's just, these people aren't serious. They're not competent. And I'll just tell you the truth. I feel really inspired that Zoran win. I was happy to see him, his wife, and his family up there, and it just feels like, hey, I hang out with the dude, and I just want to know that there's someone out there who cares about regular people and is fighting for things that will benefit a lot of people. I mean, be it affordable housing, affordable food, healthcare, any number of things. I also want to bring up, though, that we are in a really challenging spot right now. And this is why we need good leadership. This is why we got to pay attention to this stuff. And this is why hopefully we'll get more and better leadership coming midterms and then on to the general election. We're in a major market bubble right now. It just started crashing yesterday as Michael Burry, who's made famous from The Big Short, that film that was basically this dude was shorting the housing market, right? You saw that movie, Michael Burry, exactly what we're talking about. The Palantir CEO, which I made a video about, Alex Karp, he goes on TV and basically makes a fool of himself and tries to defend the crazy bubble. And this is where it gets interesting, because the U.S. bubble then affects the bubble overseas. I'm talking about here in Asia. And, we got news that essentially our markets were down. Korea was hit very, very hard. And then you had SoftBank, which is a Japanese company. They were down 10%. And so as we go into day 2, where we are now, is the bubble going to keep popping? That's right. So you have, new people coming in, fresh blood into politics. It does matter. You have to keep track of both the markets and politics. Everyone's gonna be looking for midterms, and you'll be seeing a ton of, videos and news stories out there of like why the Democrats won, why the Republicans lost, et cetera, et cetera. Everyone's gonna have their opinion on that. And I'm sure you have yours. My just general opinion on this stuff is I think Americans, some voted for Trump and they see what Trump's doing and they're just like, I want no part of that. So I think there's gonna be a lot of people that are gonna be saying that. And so this is the Democrats' chance to push the country in the right direction. But we still have a lot of work to do, because this just came out today. And unfortunately, we're at, I think, day 36 now of the government shutdown. So Trump is still in office, guys, and he still has the government shutdown. And for all we know, Trump just wants to keep it closed for the next year. I mean, that's Trumpy world. but it's costing us a lot of money, and this is unsustainable. The whole thing is unsustainable. Longest shutdown in history costs U.S. economy about $15 billion each week. It's really a lot. We'll read a little bit of this here. It says, the U.S. government shutdown has become the longest in history, and with no sign of resolution soon, its economic toll is deepening right now, and it's 36 days. They put out a chart here, and this is different estimates of how much it costs. So you got KPMG, they're saying 10 billion, right? This is loss of GDP per week, 10 billion lost. Barclays is saying 11. Scott Bessent, right, which is one of Trump's dudes. Scott saying 15 billion a week. Oxford Economics is saying 16, and then you got Moody's at the high estimate at 30. So they're calling it 15 in the headline, so we'll just say 10 to 30. I'll just say it's costing a lot, and it's hard to calculate the impact of this because essentially Trump is furloughed tons of workers, right? And it's hurting a lot of people. And just recently, and I don't know if this is a result of the shutdown, but I'll just say just recently, it was just yesterday. I don't like to talk about this stuff because it's just not a good thing. I'll just read it. At least 7 dead after UPS plane crashes and fireball on takeoff from Louisville, Kentucky. And I saw the headlines, and my this sort of gut reaction is I wonder if this has to do with the shutdown and the stress on the towers or anything like that. But I don't know. We don't know the cause of said thing. I hope it's not the case that overworked and understaffed people at the airports are going to start to see more accidents, and I'm actually deeply worried about that. I'll be frank with you guys. When I saw this, if you saw these images, it's really bad, and I think there was 11 people injured, and this right here represents a lot of what Trump America is. It's just falling apart like every day. And I remember when earlier in Trump's administration this year, we were having helicopter and plane crashes already. I remember we were seeing this. We've been talking about it on the channel. And if you look at like all of the people that are affected by Trump's shutdown, and this is on the federal worker side, just like where are federal employees, by state. You can see here it says federal employees is a share of the workforce by congressional district, and the low end is around 3%, something like that, and the high end's up to 15%. But it's spread out all over the country. I mean, it's all over the place, and it affects so many people. The thing that I was thinking about was the people, like how long can they survive? And I'll read something to you as you guys will see. This is talking about a federal worker here. It says, Blount said he delayed a car payment, but he wonders what will happen this month if he misses another check, right? If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you need the money to make ends meet. Here's a quote. I can't keep this up. I literally just signed a lease for my apartment complex, right? Bills don't care about furloughs. And I think that right there is really stuck with me, It's true. It's like you people got bills to pay, and like Trump is now threatening to not pay people who are furloughed, which is really, really a blow. I was reading some stuff to where someone was saying like, I've saved up money for, the last couple of years looking to, improve myself, improve our lives. And then if we don't get paid, say in Trump's situation, like what are we, like week 6 or something like that, it's 36 days. It sets people back really a lot because it's just, you're not getting any pay. I'm really concerned about that, honestly. And then when I look at the markets, and this is why I mentioned how it affects us here in Asia also, this is worldwide. I mean, you're looking at a really, really ugly situation. So I hope, this is my hope, that with, fresh leadership and, sort of make it through this year, get midterms, get a lot of new faces in there, and start working towards more and more solutions, opposed to, Trump and his people just burning down everything. I hope we can turn this around. But at the moment, though, I'm just being frank with you guys, we're looking at a major market bubble. That's the AI stuff, and Trump's been pushing that like crazy, and Trump and his family push crypto like crazy, which is another massive bubble. Those things are going to pop. It's just inevitably going to pop. And then how's that going to affect so many people? And so guys, we just got to make it to midterms, right? Just keep that in mind. It's going to come sooner than you think. And that's my thoughts, and I want to hear yours. And I'll catch you on the next video.